Hi, this is Jonathan from Paper Shooters. We're going to show you today how to build your Extinction construction kit. So you bought your kit. First of all, thank you very much. We do really appreciate you supporting us. In order to build your kit, you probably need a screwdriver, or if you've got one, a small electric screwdriver. Probably good to have a pair of scissors handy. And then when we get onto the paper parts, you'll need a little tube of super glue or crazy glue. Normally, kind of 3 grams is enough to keep you going and get the entire kit complete. Okay, so we'll start off by doing the plastic components. Okay, so we're going to open the box first of all. Okay, so what we got? You've got all your paper with the instructions. Got your let's get rid of those two things. So you've got the left and right, the big sides. You've got the stock, and then you've got all the parts that you need to put your blaster together. Okay, so I'm just going to put these two over to one side. Okay, so let's open these bags. Okay, so you should have your shells, 6 of those. Another one somewhere. Oh no, there's 6 in my hand, I just miscounted. I'll put those in a little box for later. Okay, you've got your mould for making your own ammo. You've got all the screws you need. All your springs are in there. Got your plunger with O-ring. And you've also got 50 pellets to get you going. Okay, so let's just make some space here. Magazine, plunger. I would suggest just take a look inside the plunger. Make sure there's nothing in there. Sometimes one of the small pieces can get stuck in there and you think it's missing when it's actually not. Okay, so just check in there, make sure there's nothing in there. Just give it a tap in case anything has got stuck, and then it will fall out. Okay, we've got our springs. That's a trigger spring, that's a return spring, and the other springs are in the bag here. Okay, all right. Oops. Okay, screws, all the pieces, and everything we need. Sorry, okay, just dropped a spring. Okay, put this to one side or the other, so that we can open our other bag, which is our instructions. Okay, so I'm just going to cut those open. Right. So the instructions are in here. First page is for the skeleton. The paper we're going to put to one side, and we'll come back to that later. Okay, so it says here you'll need a small screwdriver, medium screwdriver. About 60 minutes, I think we can probably do it quicker than that. Okay, so starts off by explaining how to build the firing mechanism. Okay, so you need the air chamber. Okay, so first of all we're going to attach the return spring. So that clicks on there like that. Okay, and then we're going to put in the shell ejection mechanism. So this goes in just like that. So that when you pull the charging handle back, this will pop out and the shell will pop out the side. Okay, so we put this in there like that. We attach this, and then we can go ahead and build the rest of the charging mechanism. Okay, so we put the thing in. I'm just going to get the little spring, put that in there as well. Okay, oops, just fell off. Okay, and then we can get the plunger. This one already came with the O-ring on it. I'm going to open the other bag of springs. Okay, so you've got the magazine spring there, which we'll come back to later. That's not small enough. Okay, so these, one slightly shorter, that's the sort of child spring, and the longer one is the kind of the harder spring. Okay, so if you've got a small user, use this spring. If you're a bigger boy, you can use the larger spring. Okay, so I normally use the larger spring, so we just put that in the end there, and pop that into the to the air chamber. Okay, the other thing we tell people when you first get it, give it a good kind of move around within the air chamber to make sure that the lubrication has all been applied correctly and there are no kind of dry spots in there that are going to cause the gun to misfire. Okay, so you've got that, and that's basically all done. And now we can make the trigger mechanism. Okay, so you've got the two pieces of the trigger. And just open the small bag of screws. Okay, so we're basically looking for the one very small screw that's in the kit, so trying not to lose anything. Let's put those in there. Let's see if we can find the... there we go. So it's the one. There's only one of them, one of its kind in the kit. And it's a very small screw. Okay, so put these two together. Take your small screwdriver. And just attach those two pieces. Just like. Okay, just like so, right? And then we take the trigger spring and just hang that off the end there like that. Okay. All right. So now we're going to do the magazine release. Okay. So you need the two pieces of the magazine release, which look like this. Okay. So the main bit goes through the front. Flip it over, and then there's like a little sort of like a key and a lock. So that kind of shows you where to push it through. And you flip it back over. Grab one of your long screws. Take your screwdriver. Just push that in. Again, it says here don't over tighten it to make sure, because if you over tighten it, this will be too stiff. Okay, so that's basically that step done. Okay, then we're going to do the safety and the magazine hook. Okay, so first of all, the two parts of the safety, which look like that and like that. So again, we take from the outside, push that through till it clicks in place. And again, there's a little slot on this piece and a little nodule on that side, so you can line those two up and push them into place. Okay, and again, one of your thin screws, put them in place. And just screw that in, and your safety should kind of click off and click on. Okay, so you've got your safety that works, just like that. Okay, so there's your safety done, and now we've got our magazine release. So you've got your small magazine release piece and the spring. Just take those two. Spring sits in there like so, and the hook just clips in the front, so that will push back and allow your magazine to be released. Okay, so those are those two pieces, and now we're on step 5, where we can attach the trigger. Okay, so this is the trigger we made earlier. So we click it into the two holes, okay, like so, and the spring, oops, just taking the spring off, so the spring just hooks over that piece of plastic, so that this trigger releases the plunger. And you can also at this stage test the safety. So if the safety is on, you won't be able to pull the trigger. Okay, so safety off, and you can pull the trigger. Okay, so again, that should all work fine. Okay. Doesn't look like I haven't quite tightened that up tight enough though, to be honest. So let's just, there we go, tighten that a bit tighter. Ah, that's better. I hadn't tightened it quite tight enough. Okay, so now we've done attaching the trigger. Okay, so now we're going to add the firing mechanism. So we put this all together before. Again, make sure that you know, you give it a good wiggle. Make sure the lubricant is well applied. Okay. And put that in there like this. So the other thing to make sure is there's a hole here that catches on your trigger. Okay, so if the hole's not facing downwards, it won't work. Okay, so if I just take this plunger just to show you, so there's a hole that way and there's no hole on the other side. Okay, so just make sure that the hole is facing the correct way so that the trigger will work okay. Alright, so you push that in and hook is on the front. Okay, now this is under tension, so if you let go it'll kind of pop out, so try and keep your finger on that now. Okay, so again it says hold the face, you know, make sure this hole is facing downwards. Okay, so now we're going to put the stock and the barrel holder on. Okay, so you clip the stock in. So there's 2 screws that will come in later, so you know where they go. Okay, and then you can take the barrel, just push the tip onto it. Okay, so we've got our barrel tip. Just going to put that in place. So again, there's a little notch cut in there, and you'll see there's a raised element within the model, so you have to click that into place. Okay, so you just turn that until you find that it clicks into place. Okay, so now we've got the barrel on and the stock on. Okay, so now we can put the main body on. Okay, so we take the main body. Again, try and keep your thumb onto the air chamber. So squeeze it in place, put your other thumb on the air chamber, and that should all close up around the body. Okay, so now you've got that nice and closed. So it says here, put in some corner screws for testing. So just put in kind of 2 or 3 screws just to keep it together while you test everything and make sure it works correctly. And then you can add the rest of the screws. Just in case, you know, it'd be annoying to put in all of these screws and then to find out that you haven't attached something internally correctly and you'll have to take everything apart again. Okay, so I'll just take this. This screwdriver is a little too fat for those holes, so I'll just finish it off with a normal screwdriver. Okay, that should be sufficient just to keep it together just while I test it. Okay, in fact I might just put in one more just to stop the bottom coming out. So again, just make sure you don't over tighten these screws because you will have problems pulling the magazine in and out. Okay. Okay, right. So close those for testing. I'll just put that to one side for a second. Okay, so we're just going to build the magazine so that we can test everything. Okay, so here are the parts we've got left, so they must be all for the magazine and the spring too. Okay, so we've got a piece that goes in at the bottom. Okay, spring goes on top of there. Okay, and again, the top of the magazine's got one flat surface and one surface with a line on it. So if you try and put the line face downwards, you'll find it won't sit. Okay, so it will only sit if it's this way up. See, it slides up and down nicely there. Okay, so you put that piece in, make sure you put the, so the side with the line should face you. and that will go up and down correctly. And just make sure the spring's in there. Okay, to the other side of the magazine, pop it into place, and then you just need 2 of your little screws. 1, 2. Okay, so the magazine's closed. Oops, not quite. Okay, so done the magazine. So now we're just going to, it says don't apply it until after the paper, but on the Extinction you can actually put the barrel in just straight away. I just stand the model up like this and then give it a couple of taps on the end. Okay. So I've just done that on the floor because there's not much space on my desk. But okay, so you're kind of good to go on the testing. So again, make sure the magazine goes in and comes out. If it's too tight, just adjust these, check these 3 screws around it, and that should be okay. All right, and then make sure that that everything's okay. So we put those in here. Okay. So does the safety work? Yeah. Okay. Barrel fires out. Okay. So it all seems to work. My suggestion would also be to just take some of your ammo, just wet 2 or 3 of them. Always load them up, in the back. So load up 3 or 4 and just test them to make sure the gun actually fires before you put all the paper on. Okay. So there you have it. You've done now all of your front page, and we're now ready to crack on with the paper.